All right, everybody. This is an exciting one. Going to be talking with a gentleman, part of two bands that I love and listen to quite a bit. One, admittedly, more than the other, but I think that's kind of an obvious impression that Chris probably got of me. But I am very excited to have you on, man. Chris Marple, everybody, of FLAW and Face the Day. How are you doing?
Doing good, bro. How you guys
Yeah,
doing, everybody?
same.
Hopefully everybody's doing all right.
Yeah, so far so good. Can't complain.
Good stuff, man.
um, yeah, getting into that cold weather, which that's my kind of weather. Not a big fan of heat. So gearing up for Halloween and working my butt off, like everybody else is as well. So and then doing this
Right.
on my off time.
It's a hustle, man. The same thing with even with the music stuff. It's going to slow down a little bit for us now with it being, a little colder outside. Take some
Mhm.
time off and get some work
Yeah,
done and be ready to hit again.
yeah. No, man, I could be more excited to chat with you about everything. Um, It's I've had my eye on getting you on here for a little while now. Just kind of getting some other ones done and filmed and posted up and all that. You know how it is. Just kind of going down the chain and getting things prioritized. But I just want to say thank you for coming on, and I guess
No,
we
thank
could
you for
just
having me, man.
yeah, it's an honor, man. Like I said, I think you lend a lot to the Flaw sound. From what I've heard of your videos that you've posted up of the playthroughs, love the tone from your guitars you play, and I think we're going to be in for quite a treat when we finally hear
Appreciate
even a
that.
new song. So let's go ahead and open it up with some Flaw stuff. What's been going on?
Right now, I mean, really in the Flaw camp, obviously we had some lineup changes that occurred. Myself was added to the lineup along with Chuck Wepfer on guitar and Brian on bass, Brian Carter on bass. James Atkins is still on drums, and then Vols is still planted in strong. But we got a new core with us, which is kind of exciting, man. I'm anxious to see how it's all going to piece together. The ideals that Chuck and I have already been working on are they're exciting is the best way to put it right now without giving too much away. But the wheels are turning, and which is good, man. The ideals are pouring in. We're aiming for 25 songs, and we'll see what of those will make the cut. We've had a couple of little one-off shows that we've been doing until then. Really, the rest of the year we're going to prioritize on finishing the album,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully have a single out maybe early spring or summer. We do have the new metal revival tour that's going to happen as well too. So we try to do a
Yes.
lot of work for this record before all that takes off next year. Probably going to be a really big year for us. At least we're hoping for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think since even before you came on board and stuff, it's been kind of like an uphill thing for Flaw, and I think right now it's going to go even higher with you gentlemen coming into the fold with Flaw alongside Vols. I think those are going to be amazing shows that you guys are going to be doing. I think the album's going to be something well worth the wait, and I have a lot of Flaw fans in my camp, as far as my younger brother and my older brother, of which is the one that got me into Flaw. He's really excited, and as well my little brother.
Nice.
Yeah, they're very excited. They've seen some of your playthroughs, and they agree with what I've been saying about how you sound doing the songs. And I think my brother especially he's very he can be a little bit skeptical only because doesn't want to get his expectations too high. He doesn't want to like
Sure. Yeah.
inflate it
Yeah.
too much. But he's just a big Flaw fan like me as well, and so man, I couldn't be more excited for everything. As far as like dynamic for the writing and stuff, like how do you guys feel about how that's been when you guys get in and you do some writing, whether it's like here and there lately, what's it felt like?
I mean, honestly, I guess the best way to put it is not to like repeat myself. It's just I've had a high level of excitement, coming. coming on board with Chuck, he was, he come from Blacktop Mojo.
Yeah.
Um, our writing styles, I guess the best way to put it, they just they mesh together real well. For a guy that I've only known a couple of months, here the last few weeks, we've been sending track ideas back and forth. Skeletons is what we like to call them, and we just feed off one another. I probably talk to the guy every day, if not every other day of the week. We have a really tight relationship already for being newly family members, as they like to call it now. But we understand one another. Even with the new metal writing style, it's right up his alley. Kind of the same way with myself, and we've both done a various assortment of bands and music. Like even with the Face the Day stuff, it's a lot more
Mhm.
like from my Valentine, Kill Switch, Lamb of God kind of oriented, to where the Flaw stuff is
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
like that. So to kind of bring some heavier elements in, as far as even styles of writing, and not necessarily making the band like heavier or nothing, but just having a thicker, darker element to the sound, I think is gonna capture some exciting sounds, with Chris. And the game plan is to not like change Flaw, but I guess try to have like just a fresh new sound with what already exists.
Mhm.
So where I go with that is, with that question, is everything Chuck and I have sent back so far, whether they get used or not, we are feeding off of it very well with one another. Every time we've shot an idea back and forth, somebody, either the other guy's like, "Oh, that's great, man! Save that. Let's build on it. Go from here," kind of thing. So far it's been very positive. The next couple of weeks, Chuck's going to come down to my place here in Kentucky, and we're going to work on really piecing those skeletons together even more to turn them into full songs. So the next couple of weeks
Mhm.
are really gonna. That's where the wheels are gonna turn, and that's when the songs are gonna come to life, and we get them to Chris and get them to our producer, and watch them unfold. That's when the excitement, I think, is really gonna take off. But right now, everybody's really pumped. I can say that. I can say that everyone is very just on board with to put this new record out. It's been almost 10 years since we had a
Yeah.
new Flaw record, which
Yeah.
isn't a bad thing. The Revival album come out, and it was the cover album. It was great. But I know us as band members and even the fans are eagerly ready to put something new out again. Getting that first single out is definitely going to be top mission. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to ask you in in general, the how have you felt coming on board, as far as like how you felt the fans would react to yourself? Mine's been nothing but positive. Have you been interacting with any other fans? Have they talked to you at all? Said how they felt? What they think?
I mean, yeah, I've had a pretty good interaction with the Flaw camp, man. One thing about myself in this story, I've been around the Flaw guys since about
Yeah,
'97,
yeah,
man. Even
yeah. You
even
said that.
prior to the record deal. So a lot of these guys have been close friends and just some of my best homies. So the first time I was brought into this, I wasn't sure how it would take. At the time I not replaced Jason or anything, but I'd come in and was filling that guitar slot in as a higher
Right.
end. So I tried to mingle and meet with everybody as much as I could to kind of lay my own foundation. So after I did that the first time, and granted that was about 14 years ago or something, I think, if I'm thinking right.
Yeah.
Coming back around the second time, there were a lot of people, a lot of fans that have remembered me from those days, even though the years that went by. I tried to stay in contact with really as many as people as I could from time to time, through Facebook or text
Right.
messages and whatever. So when I did come back around to this, I kind of had almost not like a big welcome, but a lot of people was like, "It's great to see you back, man. We can't wait." And that was exciting because throughout the years, there's been some lineup changes with the band, and sometimes
Yep.
people are either let down by that or excited or whatever the case may be, and you never know what you're walking into. But it's been very welcoming. Even here in our hometown, there's been a lot of old school Flaw fans that even myself I haven't seen for a while that are entertaining questions and wanting to know when we're going to play a home show and when the album's coming out. So it's drawn a lot of positivity around everything, which has been fantastic. Because, like I said, going into new situations, you never know how people will react right away, or maybe who's this guy? How long is he going to
Yeah.
stick around? Or, you never know. I think that's one good thing, even with the new lineup pertaining to that. I think the fans are seeing how well we all get along. The first couple of shows we did together, people were saying, "Man, it's like a band again. You guys
Yeah.
connect on stage. You're moving, you're talking, you're hanging out. Nobody's
Yeah.
looking stale or nothing." So the liveliness of it is there. It feels fresh and exciting, even though the band has been a staple for a while. What we have collectively put together now in the last few months, It feels really good, man. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that, man, because I think that is an important part of the puzzle when the fans are very supportive and they're doing nothing but embracing and want to encourage and just say, hey, man, we love seeing this. We love how you guys look on stage with each other. The fact that people see what I see just from you interacting and just, on the FLAW page itself, it's nothing but a positive thing because I think when it looks a little bit forced, I guess I want to say, or just like there's just so much uncertainty there that it kind of throws the vibe off. It takes a little bit longer for a fan base to kind of attach to the new faces. But the fact that it's kind of been almost like an instantaneous thing when you did, came out with them. And I understand it's not the first time you came out with FLAW, like you said. It's just nice to hear how receptive everybody's been with the new lineup. And
it's been very, like I said, it's been very positive. There have been a few people that weren't excited in the beginning, and you'll get that anywhere with anything, man, even if you start something fresh up off the ground. But it's been very positive. You're correct on that. And I've tried to bring some new things to the table, like a little bit more marketing stuff, a lot more social media activity. Not that the band never had that. It was just a little lower than normal. And then with myself, if you look at the Face the Day stuff, I enjoy doing that stuff. And until I get to a level to where I can't handle all the work all the time, I don't ever mind putting together the media advertisement stuff, whether it be videos, unboxings, backstage shit, pictures from everywhere, whatever the case may be. I have fun with that. So no one in FLAW or Face the Day ever has to say, we need this done, because I'm already, when I get to a venue, for example, I've already got my phone out. I'm taking stupid little snippets, quick videos, and I'll have something together before the night's over, and no one even has to ask for that. But with that, we've drawn a lot of new attention. The page itself, we got a ton. I think like 70,000 followers or something on the
FLAW page. It is crazy, man.
In the last 30 days, we've gained, like the attention of like another 28,000 almost in total reach, just from videos, just people watching the videos, the playthroughs, the hangouts, and that's drawn a lot of new excitement, I think, around to not really give people something to look for, but when they know the record's coming and they can see activity and the band's getting along and there's production there. I just think it looks good. It doesn't look like we're trying to sell something that doesn't exist, I guess, if that makes any sense.
I wanted to say, to me, it just looks like, a guy that's, wanting to post up content and show people how things go, like with whether it's a playthrough or the other things like you're saying that have been posted up. It just shows, because you know how that perception could be, right? With like a fan and like a musician, it's like they think that you guys are a different kind of human being, right?
Yeah, it can happen. Like,
like they see like, okay, they're just people like us too. So I think that's kind of the connection people are making with those playthrough videos that you do. Then the other things are getting posted up. They like seeing like, oh, hey, they're just hanging out, wanting to kind of just talk and, do a little something for us to even just watch. I think that's very smart to do. And I think this social media age, right, in general, there's like the negative stigmas with it, but at the same time, it's a good tool to have as far as like the marketing thing that you're talking about, or just wanting to have reach or whatever. It's kind of something you need to do because that's just where it's going. So
it is, man, and as silly as it is, if you don't stay on top of it, not to go off on that subject, but if you don't stay on top of the content as far as your reach or whatever, you won't fall into the algorithm. You'll post all kinds of stuff and get no views, and if you stay steady, you'll see those views climb, man. Even if it seems annoying to certain people, the people that want to watch are going to keep watching, and it's going to keep rising. But you're right, kind of the way it's going, and it's weird. I come from back in my day when I started, we used to post flyers everywhere and go to venues, hang paper on walls, and that's how you did things. And now it is all down to the phone. Everybody's just scrolling away, and which is fine. But if you find a way to lock in onto that, especially if the content is fun, if you can appeal to people or just be a real person, man. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm a real guy. You'll see me and have great times with me, and you might see me be weird one day, but you'll see I'll just be there with you. I ain't gonna hide it from you. Like
weird.
So I just try to implement that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good, man. Like I love that. Like just out the gate, man. Just talking with you just for these short 15 minutes that we've had already. It's just, I get exactly what you're saying about yourself is 100% genuine, the genuine article. So again, that's
I
just
appreciate
another
that.
part. Yeah, that's just another
It's like
part of
the,
this.
what you see is what you get kind of
Yeah,
thing, and it's
yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
like if
yeah.
people don't like a person that's genuine and just down to earth and stuff like that, it's like, well, that's kind of weird that if you wouldn't, but it's like you
Yeah.
take it or you leave it, I guess too. So,
Mhm.
point of that is I think this is the magic lineup right here with for FLAW. I think it's gonna be going forward the one that it is, and I couldn't be happier for that. And so.
It's
Uh,
kind of funny you say that because I'll touch on something real quick.
yeah, go ahead.
Just a little fun fact. A couple of years ago, I'm gonna say maybe like 3 years ago,
Mhm.
Flaw was looking for a second guitar player at the time. I think when Rob was still playing guitar or whatever, and I was contacted by Chris, and we had discussed a few things, and it just didn't end up panning out. They ended up keeping it a 4 piece.
Uh-huh.
Some time went on again. Roll the dice into the future. I was already tied up in another project, and not that I was reached out to again or anything, but Chuck was also reached out to. And once again, it just maintained a 4 piece. So for the last couple of years, Chuck and I have kind of been on the back burner of like, man, we
Mhm.
could do this and we couldn't without even knowing each other, is where I go with that. So the fact that, as going back to like June or July when all this started, a few months ago, it's kind of bizarre that it came back to me and Chuck again.
Mhm.
Collectively, and we got to meet each other this time. But we both, we both were kind of almost wondering of, are we going to do this? We're going to get the job if they want a guy, build this, and it didn't happen. And then finally, with as the new lineup occurred, and it just kind of came together. It was very
Yeah.
weird, but in a good weird. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things like one of our first couple of shows. I think second or third show, Chuck and I played together. We were sitting in the green room talking, sharing that story, and we both laughed at like, wow, isn't it funny that we both got phone calls at different times of maybe coming in and making this a 5 piece again. And as the way the world works and things happen, here we both are now, and now we're both in the band together, and the record is coming, and it's kind of like when you said it's like the lineup to be. It made me think of that. Not to badger on, but yeah, man, it's very cool how it's all worked out. It's almost like it's
Yeah.
been something that's been waiting to be, that took a while to form.
Yeah. It's kind of like threads of fate that eventually met up when it was supposed to.
Yeah, and it's bizarre,
Yeah.
man, because like I said, I've been around the Flaw camp since 97, 98, man, going way back. And it's with that band, they've always been around me in my life for some reason, and not like a negative way, but like I always found myself with the other bands I was playing in, uh, either playing shows with them, hanging out with them, running into them somewhere. Even after I left Flaw the first time and joined this other outfit, Signal the Revolution. We had just put out a record with Toby Wright. We tracked a couple of songs.
Right.
It was never a full album, but we went out on a little 3 week run right after that record come out. Main support for Flaw. So it's like I kept finding myself back in the Flaw circle over and over and over, and now I'm here again, and it's kind of cool. Like I tell everybody this, I almost feel like I was always meant to be in the band, and it just took this long to get here. And that's nothing against any other member. Like I said, the original lineup are some of my best friends, man. But how
Yeah.
things have worked and led me to where I'm at,
Yeah.
it's just kind of one of those odd feelings of like, man, maybe I was always supposed to be here. Who knows? But I'm gonna enjoy it while I am, and it's been a
Yeah.
blast so far, man.
That's kind of what you got to do. You just got to be in the moment. Try not to think about too much into the future of what might happen then, and just
Yeah,
let things be organic and be what they are. It's just kind of the best way to do it. It could be hard, obviously, to do that with
right.
life in general, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, so I get it. It's meant to be. I agree. I think that's kind of what it is. It's just meant to be. This is the time for you and Chuck to be in FLAW. So live in that moment. Create the
Thank you
best
for
music you can, and we're going to be here for that.
yeah, yeah,
FLAW, even when they weren't, yeah, FLAW, even when they weren't doing anything for that period of time, at least for me, I never stopped listening to it. And they were always a band that I was like, okay, they're going to be around at some point again. There's 5 Bolt Main, he did his solo stuff too. And Yeah. No, my whole point in all this, man, I'm just so excited that FLAW is what it is now because it just feels like
No,
the
thank you.
best representation of what the band's supposed to be, currently. And it's just the energy that I get when I see what I do is the best energy I've seen with FLAW, not no not just in disrespect to the old members like you're saying, but it just feels natural,
That's the best way to put it. It's the best. If you ask me, that's what I would say too. It feels right,
natural.
man. Yeah, yeah. It just feels right. It really does.
And then what else would you like to say to the fans as far as FLAW goes that you can say? Because I'm not the kind of guy that wants to pry to get like that juicy tidbit, because I just like to talk like yourself. So what
Yeah.
else would you say about the FLAW camp that's going on? I mean, I guess it is, just music and then shows that could happen and then just, writing and things like that. But what could you say?
I mean, I guess if I had to say anything, it would be just be ready for a great record. I know all of us, and it's not that there hasn't been any great. Everything the FLAW band itself has ever put out, I've been a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But I would tell everybody to be ready for something special, and that's the best way I can sell it because I know Chuck is, and I know myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely eagerly excited to put this record out. I want to show people that we're going to follow through on this. Not that we haven't or anything, but it's one of those things that there hasn't been a new album in a while, and the fans have wondered, when that's coming. And we want to deliver that, and we're going to. And it's going to be something big and different. It's going to sound different. It's still going to sound like FLAW, but it's going to sound a little bit more modernized, even down to the production, the mix,
Yeah.
the undertones. I won't give too much away, but even the just overall sound is it's gonna sound fresh and new again, but still capturing the big hooks, the Chris's big shining moments, and all the pieces of FLAW will be there, but it will be just turned up a notch a little bit, is the best way to put it. I know we can't wait for everybody to hear it. We don't have any um, any tracks or anything fully yet for people to hear. But I'm hoping as we get through the holidays here, maybe we'll have a teaser or something to kind of shine out, even if it's only
That'd be
35 seconds or
awesome.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I'd
but the
love,
work, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would love a teaser.
Yeah, I mean that'll probably be the goal. I mean the work, like I said here, probably about the 1st of November at the latest. Chuck and I will be here in Kentucky, and we're gonna lock it down for probably a couple of weeks and put everything together is to have some stuff ready to send over to Chris and get it to our producer and start building this record. So in the next couple of months, the action it's already going down. It's just we're gonna spend the rest of this year making sure that happens. Even if the record doesn't come out till summer, we'll have it all together by the first of the year and start hitting these runs. I'm hoping by May, I don't really have a date or a time, but I'm hoping by midsummer, into summer or something, this record will at least be out, and hope to have a single prior to that too. But a lot of hard work's going into it, man. I'm telling you, we're all really pumped to be a part of this. Even to come in and have the opportunity on it. Chris he's been in the industry long enough, and not that he would or wouldn't, but he could just hire studio musicians and put this record out and find us to go tour on, and that's fine
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah.
But to be given an opportunity, Chuck and I have discussed this a lot, to be given an opportunity to be a part of the record, a part of the foundation, actually go out and be the guys that wrote those songs, playing those songs and do it back to like the feeling like a real band thing again. There's a lot of heavy promise there, man. And everybody feels good about it. We're all on the same page with what we're trying to achieve, which is cool. It's just, sometimes it don't always stay that way, but right now everybody is really just, we're all lined out together. And communication is very strong, which is good. I don't know if that's a thing that lacked with other people in the past or anything, but like I said, me and Chuck and Chris, we probably talk every day to every other day via phone call, text message, whatever the case may be. So we're in a constant loop with each other, which is good. Nobody's like, I haven't heard from that guy in weeks. What's he doing? Like that doesn't exist either.
In a year.
Right?
Yeah. No, I couldn't be more excited, man. Like, I'm going to embrace the record when it gets here. Like, I'm a really patient person as far as that goes, man. Like, I just love getting the music. I'm not one of those kinds of people that are It's like, okay, come on, man. It's been like this many amount of years. Where's something like that's never been my style. Like I get eager, sure. I get anxious, sure, but I'm a good waiter as far as that. Like when it gets here, it's probably going to be all I listen to for months at a time because I take a long time to digest a record when it's new.
I,
So
I do too,
yeah,
man. Sometimes I hated it first. Sometimes
yeah,
the stuff I love the most, I couldn't stand at first, and then it grew into me. Um,
hmm
so yeah, I get that 100%, man.
yeah,
The good
um,
stuff I feel like always takes a while to sink in. Like you don't
yeah,
catch it all right away.
yeah. I've had many a record, many a songs do that. Sometimes you just don't understand it at the first time you go through it, or the second
Mm-hmm.
time, 10th time, and then one day you put it on and it just all makes sense. And I kind of love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It gets its due process to kind of uh, have yourself open up to it. Like I remember a record. I can't remember the band. I was pretty young, but there was a record that came out that I almost threw it in the garbage, right? And then like I stopped and like, you know what? That wouldn't be necessarily fair to the band to do that. And so I remember just putting it on my counter in my bedroom, and then going to school on the school bus, I put it in and I started listening to it. And I took the whole school year to just listen and listen. And by the end of the school year, if I couldn't find that record in like my CD gatefold, people used to have those kinds of
Yeah.
things, back in the day.
Right.
I was
The
impressed.
booklet.
Yeah, yeah. So no, anyway, man, before we segue to face today stuff, I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you what have been some of the songs in the FLAW catalog that you just love to play live or just do the playthroughs of? One of my favorites that you've done recently on a playthrough was Recognize. That's been
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs in the FLAW catalog for like years, man. So, what are some of the ones for you?
I mean, honestly, that you hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, it's recognized as a great song. It's fun to play, man. Uh, Not that
Yeah.
it's an easy song, but it flows well. It's just the energy behind it, the story that's being told, with the lyrical content. That song's just a lot of fun to play. Same thing with I think Endangered Species. That track, I also did a
Mm-hmm.
playthrough of that. That's another fun one.
Yeah.
I like sometimes even the stuff we don't play live. I enjoy doing like the deep cuts. Almost put up a
Yeah.
video of the side off endangered species, and I still might do that. But at the end of the day,
Hey,
like
I should
the
do it.
stuff we play live, I love like Get Up Again, Amendment, Fed Up. Reliance is another one that's just a banger to play live. There's a lot of energy. Um, and Get Up Again is probably one of my favorites. Payback's always fun to play. It's the single that everybody knows. Um, yeah, and I see
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's question. Yeah, we can always do a
Yeah.
playthrough
Yeah.
of Medicate. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but I think honestly, if I had to pick a couple of, man, I mean, I love playing Get Up Again. I love doing Amendment. Payback's always fun. Hole's a great song to play live
Mm-hmm.
too. We don't always do that one live. It's one of those songs. It's a
It's
deep
a
song
heavy
for Chris,
song,
man.
man. Yeah. It's heavy.
It's heavy. So depending on the vibe and the night, that's the song we play or don't play. But man, those are probably some of my absolute favorites. Do you remember is another good one. Live and Breathe is also
Yeah.
fun to play, or Bleed Red. Uh, but a lot of the Through the Eye stuff is probably my favorite. If I had to really attach it to it, because a lot of those songs
Yeah.
that were on the first album were on an album that they did here locally at home in Louisville called the Drama EP, and that contained Only the
Right.
Strong and Payback.
Mm-hmm.
And a few songs that made that record that we were all burning out here at home before the album ever came out. So those songs kind of lie near and deep with me, especially Fed Up. That's old school. That goes back to like the Flaw paper CD from like 97 or 98 or something crazy. It used to have like this little anime guy on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's the old Flaw. But some of those songs, like Scheme, or even Amendment were on that. Some of those tracks are
Yeah.
almost 30 years old now, which is crazy, and they're still great songs, man. Especially Only the Strong. That's one that
Mm-hmm.
everyone loves to play. That's a feel good song, man. It really is. Um, those are probably my favorites. If I had to name, the few that I went over, those are probably, Get Up Again. I know I've said it a few times. That song's a blast to play. It's quick
Yeah.
and we nail through it, and there's a lot of energy behind it. But yeah, man.
Yeah. No, those are great picks, man. For me personally, so with the Through the Eyes album, I always really connected with My Letter a lot.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, fast forwarding to today, man. So a little bit of, and I was gonna talk about this with Chris too, because I've been working on getting him on here when it works out, because he's a real busy guy, especially now. A
Yeah,
story
now he's
with
a
that, with
firefighter, man. Now he's got the
yeah,
volunteer
yeah,
firefighter. He's got that going
yeah,
on now too. But
yeah.
Chris, he
Well,
stays busy, man.
yeah, we're looking for November with trying to get him on here, and if it lines up, it lines up. It's gonna be great. But I'll share this with you
Yeah.
too. When I found out that I was gonna be a dad, Best I Am became one of the, and I've always loved that song, right? But that song took on a whole new kind of life when I found out I was going to be a dad, and like I must have listened to that song like hundreds of times a day at work, because I used to do night shift at Walmart as a
Mm-hmm.
manager for the front end, cash register areas, and just that song. And by the way, that's a song I hope you do a playthrough of.
We can do
But
that. That's one we've been talking about putting maybe back into the set again. I
yeah,
don't know how soon it will happen or not, but that's another deep cut.
yeah,
Uh, it's a great story, man.
yeah,
That song is super
yeah,
passionate, and the lyrical content is just insane. It'll give you cold chills, man.
yeah. Like
But you're right.
Chris,
That song, well, you put a different meaning behind it, especially being a dad for the first time or whatever.
yeah,
Like it ties a whole new message to the
yeah.
content.
Yeah, like I think it's just such a perfectly written song as far as like the expectation or that weight that a new father would put on himself, because a lot of dads will do the whole, I don't want him to be like me, but I want him to grow into his own person, but I want to be that example that help him grow into that great person, right?
Right.
And to me, that's kind of what the song is always. That song talks about, like, in like that kind of like doubt that you'll go through, as well as like, well, what if I'm not good for my child and all that. So, just that's probably, in my opinion, some of his best songwriting from Chris. And then I'm gonna echo your one for Amendment, like that bridge section, especially for Amendment.
Oh
Always
yeah.
connect with me, man. Like I like the way he puts those words and frames what he's trying to say to the listener. Like today, especially, man, I think is especially true. Like that song just hits it on the nail, man. Like it's such a powerful song, and it also gets you moving too, man. Like it's heavy and it's
It does.
passionate.
It's a crash course of energy. It's very powerful and very
Yeah,
dramatic and moving, especially when you get to the bridge point of that song, like you mentioned, for example. Um, it's just it's very emotional in all ways. Highs, lows, all the above, man. I think that's what makes that
yeah,
song so special to me. And even My Letter, man. My Letter is another one that's got some
yep,
deep storytelling to it as well. Chris, that's one thing I've always loved about him. Being a band member with him or watching as a fan out front dude knows how to send a message, man.
yeah,
He knows exactly
yeah,
what to
man.
say and put it in the right place. His phrasing, just how he does it. He just knows what to do, man, and he's great at it. And it's what I
Yeah,
love about it. It's what drew me to the band forever. I mean, I always loved the
yeah,
music, but hearing Chris's vocals, is that's what sold it for me from day one. Even if you listen to the piano versions of Only the Strong or My
yeah.
Letter, like
I was
the
about to
voice
mention that.
sells
Yeah,
it. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
yeah. The dude's great at what he does. And then before we go into Face a Day, just two other
Yeah.
songs. I also really love Fatal Fall, and then I love
Oh, yeah.
Final Cry as well, like from
From
Endangered
Endangered.
Species.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those two songs also, and then Wipe Away the Dust. No, I know that's not from Endangered, but and then man, there's too many to honestly name, man. Like because they're all good in my opinion. Like it's just there's no song that's any less than the other. you know.
Yeah, and that "Divided We Fall" record was a great album too, man.
Yeah,
That touched base back to like the old school roots,
yeah,
especially with songs like "Wipe Away the Dust" or "Fed
yep,
Up."
yep,
Those are just bangers, man. They hit hard.
yeah,
Um, it's actually funny you say that because that's a song I'd like to see back in the list. And I know as things come forward, we're going to try to push a lot more newer material than older.
yeah,
But the fans still love hearing certain songs, and that's why they'll probably always remain in the set list. You know, there are
yeah.
those
The
sets of people that come
staples.
out that they can't wait to hear Only the Strong or Payback or My Letter, and they want it. And here lately, we've been putting You've Changed back into the set list, and people have been loving that
That's a
too,
good
man.
one.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think we were in Illinois or something, Lamont, Illinois, if I remember right. There's a video of it on YouTube. This is the first time we played that live together, and hadn't even really rehearsed it, which was funny. And we ripped through it, man. It sounded great. You know, Chuck and I had played that song many times over like video calls, which is hilarious. But we got up and just slung it that night. You know, people were yelling it in the crowd, and we were like, "Let's roll." And it went over very well, man. That was another one of those that just felt powerful, man. Even by the time we got to the bridge, and from what I can remember that night, everybody was just soaking it up. It was the song nobody thought they were getting, and that was kind of cool to push that through.
Yeah, man. Like, what about Turn the Tables? Is that one that gets in the set at
That
all? Yeah,
Not recently, man. I haven't seen that one played live in years, and that's a great song too. Um, that's gonna be a good discussion for Vols. There's so
yeah,
many good songs to choose from, man. Like sometimes
yeah,
assembling that set list, especially if we're not headlining or anything, can be different. You know, it can be a variance of 8 songs or 14 songs that night, and there's so many good ones to choose from, man. Sometimes things get skipped over, not even intentionally. Like you'll think of it and be like, "Oh shit, the song wasn't in the,"
it's just how it is. Yeah, it's just how it is.
yeah. But
But hey,
that's a great
let's
song too, man.
yeah. Hey, let's switch gears and start talking about what's been going on with Face the Day recently.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, recently with that outfit, I mean, we're looking for a singer. We're on a vocalist hunt right
Yep.
now. So we've had some auditions going. Quite a few people have come out already. We just haven't selected a candidate. We did have a good friend, Billy Burton. Um, he's been played around here at home forever. He's a great musician. He came out and helped us fill in at a couple of the shows we did. We did that
Mhm.
Louder and Light pre-party. And he came out and did that with us. So the performance still went well. But there's him and a couple others that are in the works. We actually got a couple more guys coming out this week. So we're kind of in a standstill right now. We pretty much got a whole record written that we've yet to be able to release because of the situation we ran into with losing
Yeah,
Lucas at the time, um,
yeah,
which was a drag. You know, we had a lot of things going on with that, and it was a stopping point for us, but it had to be done. Unfortunately, it was one of those things. Just as far as business goes, it just
yeah,
operations weren't. You know, that's the best
yeah,
way to put it. Because I don't want to down that guy. Lucas is very talented at what he does, and
yeah.
just as far as collaborative business was going, there were some things that we just didn't agree with. You know, so it's kind of held us up a little bit. But the music is there. We got a lot of stuff written. Uh, we just got to find a guy is the thing, man. And
Yeah.
there's a couple of good candidates, but with that band, like I said earlier, with it being more along the lines of like Kill Switch or Bullet for My Valentine, Lamb of God, however you want to look up, that's what I get told the most that band reminds people of. It's finding
Mhm.
a guy that can sing all those styles. Like we've had a couple of guys come out, for example, that could sing really good and not scream, or scream killer and not be able to sing at all, and not have the singing voice. So finding someone to pull off both duties, even with Voles, for example, not to go backwards and FLAW again, but he's the
Right.
guy that can do both very well. And there are guys that do it, but there are a lot more guys that do one or the other than there is both really well.
Uh-huh.
So trying
Yeah.
to find someone, and now we're edging into the holidays and stuff, and that'll probably slow us down a little bit. But that's our main task with the Face Today stuff, is trying to get the vocalist position filled, and it's looking promising too. Like I said, we've had people coming out and people still contacting us about it, so I think it's going to get patched up sooner than later. But I'm excited to put that stuff out too, because we only dropped a couple random little singles that we were just writing basically in our practice spot. Man, we got a little studio we rehearsed in and run everything direct, did all pre-production ourselves, posted them online, and so that we got, you know, a whole record that really needs to be shown that I would like to get out, you know. Even Chuck's
Yeah.
entertained doing vocals on the record for us. I don't know if you've ever listened to any Chuck's solo stuff, but Chuck, he's got some
I don't
pipes in
think
him too,
so.
along with being a guitar
Yeah.
player, man. So I don't know if that's something we might entertain to put the record out just to get it out there, and then find someone. That we've had a lot of different discussions with that, but really, it's mainly getting through these auditions and trying to find a guy. You know, we did
Mhm.
have this guy Trevor that come out, that did a hell of a job, man. I mean, he was probably one of the top guys that were just kind of like, all right, now we're thinking, you know, brains are stewing
Mhm.
now. And I think he might come out again this following week. So if things continue to go well, maybe he'll be the guy, maybe not. I don't know. Um, but it's just trial and error right
Is there
now. You know,
anything that, yeah. Is there anything that I could hear from Trevor that he has posted up or anything like that? Because I wouldn't mind hearing what he sounds like.
well, I mean, yeah.
Does he post?
Well, he's another one of these cats. It's been a while since he's been in an outfit. He's
Uh-huh.
actually a professional disc golf player, and I'll go that far with it.
Oh,
But he used to be with this. He used to be with this band called Sever This Illusion, and they were signed to I think Turkey Vulture Records or something. This is back probably
mhm.
early 2000s. I believe that music
Right.
is still online for you to check out, and then their style's a lot heavier, but the dude kills it, man. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
there's Dale
you're
from Face Today. Yeah, Sever This Illusion. Yeah, that's the
what
name
up,
of the
man?
band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we have, you know, there's a couple other guys too, but he's one of the ones I think that's in our probably top list of the couple that we know we want to kind of bring back around. But it's just like once again a trial and error. I hate to say that, but it's you never know really, especially with some guys that don't have any. You know, we got a guy that's supposed to come out I think tomorrow that he doesn't have any recordings of his voice, but is you know, selling a good
Mhm.
story. So it's one of those things that like, man, I wish I could hear how he sounds. And so we shot him some tracks. We'll see if we get something back on that. But sometimes that's the thing we've ran into with this, as far as like local guys go. If not everybody's got a way to record or has a copy of something or you know
Right.
any of that. Yeah. Um, but I feel pretty good about it. I mean, out of the three guys, I could say that we have kind of continually been in rotation. I think it's going to get locked down soon, real soon, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Because it's put
Yeah.
us at a standstill too, in between losing the vocalist and then the stuff I've had going on with FLAW. The wheels have slowed down a whole lot on that side of things. But we still get together and jam. You know, like I said, we got enough material together that we just need to get a guy and we can release a record finally. Um, that's probably the with that because I don't have a whole lot to say on it really on that, and not in
Well, that's
like a
all
bad
good,
way,
man.
but
That's all good.
we've just been at
Yeah.
a standstill lately with Face Today. So getting when we as soon as we get this vocalist situation lined out and get those songs released, we'll probably get some action going. Probably next summer is what I'm thinking because the first of the year is going to be really busy with me with the FLAW stuff. We got on that Saliva run for I think 5 or 6 weeks or something, and then hopefully come back and things will be able to move, you know, and kind of because I like try to balance them both, man, and do one and the other in my
Yeah.
off time. But I'm hoping
I
if we
mean,
get a guy by before Christmas, maybe springtime, we can be
yeah.
rocking, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it's everything happens when it needs to happen. So I mean, it's I know it's hard not to feel the pressure or feel like, oh well, time keeps going by and it's still nothing's going on really and stuff. But everything with time, it's just one of those things where standstills and things like that, they come and they go. So
And sometimes they
I
work
have
out
every
in
bit of faith. Yeah,
yeah, and sometimes they
yeah,
work out in
every
weird
bit of
ways
faith
too.
in everything else.
Yeah, it's like when we lost, you know, when we got rid of, you know, Lucas or whatever, it was like right as that was going down, the FLAW tours, like we had a couple of off shows a few weekends back to back. And it's like when that happened, as
Right?
much as it sucked, it allowed me to have some time to take care of that too and balance them both out. But you know, the other guys, you know, Dale and Tony and Derek and Face Today, man, those guys have still stayed busy working the whole time, even when I've had to leave and go on the road. They're still continually jamming and writing and you know that outfit will stay productive even if it comes to a chance to where I can't play certain shows if I'm
Right.
gone. You know, the mission is still to get this vocalist and keep the band active as much as possible. Now some of the guys they can't really, you know, Face Today is not really more of a big touring outfit. We're more of like more of just like a regional really in surrounding states of
Mhm.
Kentucky, a couple of guys got just killer jobs, man, that it would take, it would be hard for everybody to get up and bolt and leave. So Face the Day is kind of an outfit that we all just get together and just headbang, man, just write riffs and have
Yeah,
fun.
nothing wrong with
No
that.
serious pressure, no demands, and
Yeah,
some of the, like Dale Donaldson, the other guitar player, me and Dale go back about 20 years. And it's the first band we've ever been in, but we've been in mutual bands and played many, many, many shows together. So, the time of the friendship and connection is cool too, to finally, once again, to finally be there and do it like this. And with no serious strings attached. We just get together and we riff and have fun and go play shows. Like, it's kind of cool to have something like that. Because with FLAW, we obviously have fun too, but it's a lot more business oriented. That's so it's kind of cool to have a little bit of both. You kind of feel like you get a break
yeah,
from the seriousness when you go rock out with the Face Today stuff. And it's a lot of fun, man. It's just fun to play those tunes with guys I've known forever. Um, I think that's where the real connection is. We
yeah.
just get
I can
together.
only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've, uh, you know, I just couldn't be more excited, man. You got my undying support with both bands, Flaw and Face the Day.
I
Um,
appreciate
if
that,
I
man. It
don't
means a
get the
lot.
yeah, yeah, and even if I don't get the chance to see Face of the Day live, man, I still got YouTube stuff I can maybe look at, or whatever you guys post up on your Facebook. But with that said, I am hoping that when Flaw next year gets things worked out and things set in place, set in stone, that there will be an organ date, because in all the years I've been listening to Flaw, I have never once gotten the chance to see a live show.
We'll have to see if we can
So
outfit something, man. I know we do a lot of stuff in
yeah,
the West Coast, but I think you're right. Even in my
yeah,
time, I can't remember being in Oregon recently, anyways.
yeah,
Uh, but usually the West Coast, there's a lot of Colorado, Arizona, California. Every time, I don't know if that's the routes that
mhm,
the booking agent takes when they lay all this out. It looks a lot of it's always based around those odd drives. So to get to Oregon, if there's not somewhere you can
yeah,
get
yeah.
live, sometimes it makes it weird, because we were getting hit last time for not coming through, like I think Tennessee or somewhere again, and it was like, this is the third time it's happened. It's like, man, it's out of our hands. Like, we want to get there,
Yeah.
like we mentioned all the places we try to go, and at the end of the day, it's where they all line out in the map. But I'd love to get up there and get close, man, and give you guys a show. That'd be badass.
If it gets close enough, man, I will make the trip.
Yeah, and if you
Yeah.
do, man, like, like if we get close enough and you're able to come out, maybe we'll throw you on the guest list or something, and that way you're only out your drive. We'll figure something out, man.
Yeah. Uh, I'm more than happy to go to Washington if that's the state that you guys get to, or something close enough in California, maybe. So there's options there. Idaho, surrounding states. So
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
could happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
And then to start wrapping this up, I like to throw some like rapid fire questions in there. They're not always
Sure.
music related. They're kind of fun and like funny kind of questions. So with Face of the Day and Flaw, right? Beverage
Mm-hmm.
or food, what would you use to describe either band as a beverage or a food?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it could be liquor if you chose beverage. It doesn't have to be something that's like
A bottle
soda
of
or whatever.
Jägermeister. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey,
uh, no, I mean that's a good question. Hmm. It almost be like because with both bands, but I mean with both outfits, it's a thing that's like there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of
Dale says
energy, there's a
tacos
lot
for
of
Face of the Day.
yeah. I think street tacos to describe Face Today, that or steaks later on. We used to
Yeah,
grill
yeah,
out so much after band practice in the summer. We have a habit of naming our songs stupid names until we get lyrics and have them formatted. And there were
yeah.
songs like Steaks Later On and Watch Out for Deer and like just obnoxious titles that will never exist. But yeah, I think street tacos would describe Face Today. I'm gonna take Dale up on
Yeah,
that.
those are good. So yeah, that's a good one. And then I would say flaw could be like a T-bone steak or something with some potatoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Meat
New York
potatoes.
strip.
Yeah, something like that.
I can, yeah.
Yeah. And then what's an interesting fact about yourself, if you'd like to disclose, that someone fans might not know about you? You know, like a
Um,
hobby or
I mean, a lot of people probably, I don't know, but not know. I was played ice hockey for my entire
yeah.
life, from the time I was
Ah,
6 up until like my mid 20s. So I was a big hockey guy. Most people know me from music or dirt bikes back in the day.
yeah,
But that's another hidden favorite of mine. I'm a big hockey nut, man. When it comes to playing or watching NHL, I'm a sucker for a good hockey game, man. That's probably one of my little secret things that I just love to do that people either
yeah,
know or don't know. But
yeah. I didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So,
there you go.
and then last one here. What would you say is your favorite movie or favorite kind of movie to sit down to?
Man, typically either comedy or like action. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
like old school too. Here lately, I've just been stuck in watching everything from the '80s. Man, sit down and watch
Some
Predator,
Predator.
Walker, Texas Ranger. No,
Yeah.
I
I
like
used
I
to
like
watch
watching.
that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched that quite a bit. Yeah, I'm only 37, almost 38, but I'm familiar with a lot of those like shows from the 70s and 80s and late 90s and stuff. I watched a lot of them.
Yeah,
Knight
man.
Rider,
Oh, dude,
Nash,
Night Riders are great.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nash Bridges. I watched that one quite a
Oh,
bit.
dude, I forgot all about that. That's a
Yeah, it
yeah,
was that
Nash
car,
Bridges.
man, that Challenger. It was that
Dude,
yellow
that was
Challenger.
sick.
Or wait,
Yeah.
maybe it was a Cuda. It was a Plymouth Cuda. I can't. It was one of the two.
No, you might be right, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, man. No, this was a hell of a lot of fun, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Nice seeing Dale in there and Patrick coming in.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. No, I appreciate you having me. It was
yeah,
fun. I had a good time.
yeah. I do what I can, man. I could be kind of a bit of an odd dude, but I kind of like that about myself. I'm not a professional by any means with this. It's only been about a year now that I've been doing it, so not professional at all. I'm just happy to be able to do it. Like I love talking about music with musicians and bands that I love. Just
Hmm.
getting perspective from them and hearing neat little stories about songs and just other things like that. So I do so very much appreciate the time you set aside to do this. I know you got your own life, so I'm not. Uh, I am very thankful.
No, man, I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you having me on. I'm a big advocate of things like this, so anything
Yeah,
that can help us grow, and like this,
yeah,
any of these little podcast things or interviews or they can go afar, they can spread wide, man.
yeah,
A little goes a long way. And if you're cool with it,
yeah,
which I'm, whatever, I'll reshare this to all my platforms. I'll get some eyes on it, get you some attention,
yeah.
us some attention. We all try to win here, man. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely, man. Like I say this to not every band, but I feel like it goes without saying. I hope you're absolutely free to share this around, do your own chopping up of it or whatever you want. I'm going to clip it up myself and post it around because you do have both of the bands that you're involved with name attached to it. So it's as much your guys' material as it is mine. So you can
yeah,
absolutely
man.
do whatever you feel like with it. I'm more than supportive of that, and I say fire away.
Yeah, no,
Totally
sweet. I
cool.
will.
And before I let you go, if you don't mind, I will reach out to you again at a later date, whether it's a face of the day update or a flaw update, and get you back on here for something if you're up for it, and we could do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And if there's a way to work it out, if I don't know how your setup is, but I can even talk to Chuck, man. Maybe bring me and Chuck both on board, and we
Yeah,
can we can talk
yeah,
about whatever, man. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely, man. You can bring anybody you feel like. I'm more than willing to talk to anybody.
sweet, man. Yeah, I'm sure we can work it out.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna get this wrapped up and hopefully up on the platform, YouTube, and all that by the end of the day. Um, take
Sounds
care.
good.
Can't wait to hear the new music from both bands, and I'll be in touch.
Hey, sounds good, man. You take care
All
and
right.
have a great day. And again, I appreciate your time as well, dude. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.